doesn't feel like a bream, and the bite wasn't like a bream. This is something a little bit beefier, I think. Hi, well, I'm back out fishing again. I did record an introduction when I was at the lake, as witnessed by the photograph here. But unfortunately, because I haven't been fishing for a while, I've forgotten a few of the things I need to do when I'm doing my videoing, and I had a lapel mic on to cut down the wind, but I forgot to plug it into my iPhone. So the introduction I did was rather noisy, and at times you couldn't really hear what I was saying. So I'm back at Earith. This is my first trip out since November. I had a hip operation in February, and I like this little lake. The problem at the moment, and it's not confined to this lake, is that with all the rain we've had, the water level is very high, which means the back of the lake where I usually fish wasn't accessible. So I'm fishing nearer the entrance to the complex, which is good really, because it means I had less distance to walk, which at the moment is probably beneficial. So without any further ado, let's get into the fishing. Well, it's good to be back fishing. But normally when I fish this lake, I fish right around the back, which is very sheltered. But today, that end of the lake is underwater. You can't get around there really without waders. So I'm basically right near the entrance today. I started off just fishing a waggler, but it wouldn't stay put because of the wind. So I put a little ledger on, sort of float ledgering, but I think the wind may drag the float under. Oh, something's caught. Oh, there we go. Yeah, the wind may, I think I had too tight a line there. Let's try again. I'm trying to get out by the lilies. I put some groundbait out there earlier. Oops, that wasn't very good. I think I might have had a bite on my previous cast, but as I say, it may be just the wind dragging the float under. So I may have to revert to a small ledger and a bobbin. I don't think that's a bite. I think that's probably the wind. It's a bit too slow for a bite. Difficult to know really. I think I'll wait for it to disappear completely before I assume it's a bite. As I say, a ledger may be a better bet today. I just fancied a bit of float fishing, first time back. There's a couple of other guys here, both ledgering with multiple rods, usual thing. There's some big carp in here. I'm not really after the carp, there's a lot of tench in here. I was hoping I might get a tench, and there's bream in here as well, which are good sport. As I say, if I could have got around the back of the lake, which I can't, it's much more sheltered, it's surrounded in high trees, but this is a bit exposed here. But there's really only half a dozen spots you can fish today. It's the level is up, obviously because of all the rain we've had. I've got bread on at the moment. I bought some sweet corn, and also there's a bit of an experiment which I may try in a minute. We had bought some mealworms for the birds, to feed the birds, and it occurred to me they may work as a fishing bait, I'm not sure. So I brought a few with me, never tried it before, so perhaps on the next cast I'll put some mealworms on. If there's something that's not interested in the bread, they may go for the mealworms. Yeah, this wind is right in my face. Oops, the float just lifted there. Yeah, that was a bite. It's like a lift bite. Now this is going to be tricky. I've got all this stuff in front of me. Fun. What we got? Is it a small carp or? Difficult to tell really. Looks like a bit like a crucian. Looks like a nice crucian actually. Whether it's a pure crucian, there's a lot of crossbreeding happens in this lake. Well, it's not so. It looks like a crucian, doesn't it? Let's have a better look on the map. Trouble is, I get down with this hip and I can't get up again. That's one of the challenges. Yeah. It's difficult to know here. There is a lot of crossbreeding in this lake, so it may getting wet knees here. Should look on the map a bit further. Yeah, I think it's, it looks like a crucian, doesn't it? Seems to have that crucian look about it. I don't know, with that fin, with that split fin, I think almost certainly it's probably some form of crossbreed. Right, now I brought my walking stick with me as an aid to getting up, which is a bit of a challenge. That was a little bobble on the float. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's a small bream. Yeah, just a small bream. So, down and out. I've just cast in and got a bite straight away, and I didn't even switch the video. Seems to be fighting a bit harder than... it's a tench. I was going to say it's fighting a bit harder than the bream. No, it's not. Oh, it was a tench. No, it's not. It's a bream. What's he got the bream feeding? Not massive, but quite welcome really. There we go. I've just put a little bit more groundbait out. Actually, just a mention of the groundbait. It's actually bird food. I started buying a bird food mix called Insect Feast, and it's sort of full of bits of suet and mealworms and probably other things as well. And it's not like ordinary bird seed. It's a sort of it looks a bit more like groundbait actually. So you better look at the groundbait or the bird food suet. Lots of little bits of mealworm. Yeah, so now my hip means I cannot get down to the water's edge very easy. So this is my stole this from the kitchen, and saves me having to get down near the edge of the water to, as I say, it's a bit too granular. It doesn't really bind, it's too much, but with a little bit of sort of additive, it would probably be a lot better. Well, this wind is getting more and more troublesome. I've obviously been pinching the soft bread out of the centre of the slices. So what I've just now done is to crumble up the crusts and the remaining fragments and mix them with the birdseed. Risk of blowing away my unhooking mat. I'll have to keep an eye on it. I've now pulled out of 3 fish, which is frustrating. I've checked my hook, it's sharp enough. I think the problem is that I'm not necessarily striking at the optimum time with the wind and what have you. It's not always possible to judge the best point. I'm probably a bit late on the strike sometimes. Ooh. This doesn't feel like a bream, and the bite wasn't like a bream. This is something a little bit beefier, I think. Yeah, this must be a tench, I think. Yeah, tench. Come on, you baby. Yeah, I've had a few bream, and I've pulled out of a few fish, and I thought one was heavier than a bream, and this is probably what it was.
Very nice.
Yeah. Oh. So I had a hip operation in February.
All right.
So getting down is.
Yes, it's not easy, is it?
I got down earlier on, and I wished I hadn't. So.
Especially as it's so slippy.
Yeah, and I'm sort of doing this differently. Whoa. No, I'm trying to hold you. No, it's too slimy for me, I think. There we go. Not bad. Right, back you go.
What's that on in terms of bait?
Bread.
Bread.
Yeah.
All right.
It's the first time I've been fishing since last November, and I just took what I had, which was a loaf of bread.
Okay. We work up at the state just up the road, and we're thinking about coming in the evening for a sort of
Yeah,
a
yeah.
fishing session.
Well,
I've never been here.
You're making life difficult for yourself. There you go. Yeah, I wondered whether I'd pick up a tench today. I've not fished this particular spot before, obviously. I wasn't sure if they'd be feeding or, but a bit of a bonus, really. Oh. Oh. I'm not sure what this is, but I don't think it's even a tench. I think it may even be a carp. It's certainly battling to get in over it. Unfortunately, that's still soft, I think. I'll just keep pressure on, perhaps it'll decide not to go in there. Oh, jeez. Ay, ay, ay.
I think I'm into a carp. Oh dear. Not really got the tackle for this. I wouldn't mind. I think it's a little way from coming in yet. I was after bream and tench, not carp. But they come along, don't they?
I know, because we're after a carp and we get bream and tench.
I can't rush him, I haven't got the tackle. I was surprised I was managed to keep him out those. It's pretty early in the year, perhaps they're not quite fully fit yet. No, he's not ready. He's not ready. Yeah, I should have known by the bite. Everything else has been fitty and fussy, and this one just went away like a bloody express train. If I can keep his nose up. Nah. There we go. Mind that pole, it may not be strong enough. Wow.
That's a good one, matey.
It's a nice fish, isn't it? Yeah. I was saying to the other guy, I had a hip.
You've got to go float fishing, Gordon. It's no good.
Yeah.
It's 11 pounds.
This weighs just under a pound, this net. It's got a quick release thing on it. If you just hold that a minute for me.
Yeah, sure.
Oh. Well, it's supposed to be a quick release.
Oh, there you go. That's useful.
Yeah, this is the way I usually do it. So. About just under 11 and a quarter. Ah, yeah, but this weighs just under a pound. So
all the laughter was because both those guys had estimated the fish at 11 pounds. So when my scales registered, it was actually 11 pound 2 ounces. They both felt very satisfied that they had actually guessed the weight. But I needed to point out that the net actually weighs nearly a pound. In fact, 14 ounces. So the actual weight of this fish was 10 and a quarter pounds.
It's a lovely sight, isn't it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There must be about 13 there. Amazing. Well, I didn't expect a carp today. I was glad to have some help with that. Not so much getting it in, it was the unhooking it and weighing it. I'm still a bit restricted in movement. I was sort of expecting some bream and perhaps some smaller tench, or like the tench I got, which I can handle. But that was a battling fish. That was. Gee. Oh. Again, this is not bream, I don't think. Probably more likely a tench. Doesn't feel as heavy as that carp. Oh, I don't know now. Ah. It's a pity I pulled out of that one. I think it was a tench. There was some slime on the line, which would tend to indicate perhaps a tench. Oh, Jesus. I'm going to have to put a bigger hook on, I think. I keep pulling out of things. I think this is probably going to be my last cast, so let's hope something comes along. Still, if I get nothing else, I can't complain. Nice tench, a really unexpected carp, and I think I lost a couple of tench pulled out. Well, certainly I had one on for a while, and that was definitely not a bream, probably not a carp, so it was probably a tench, and that pulled out. And I've had two or three others that have pulled out sort of just after I've made contact, so got a few bream, a tench and a carp, can't complain. For the first trip back after months off. No, I think that last fish that came off, I think spooked things a bit. So it's just coming up to 3. I said I'd pack up at 3, so although part of me wants to stay a bit longer, I said I'd get home about 4, so I'm going to pack up now. And could have been a bite. It's difficult to tell with the wind. It really is difficult. The wind is sort of squalling, and unless the float goes under, it's a bit difficult to know. And that was definitely a bite, wasn't it? Just wait and see what develops, and that'll be the end. I think it's probably a bream. Yeah. Oh, jeez. Right, that's it. Good bite, missed it. Well, that's it for today. It couldn't have gone better, really. I couldn't fish the spot I normally fish. It's around the back of the lake, which is flooded, but in a way that was a bonus, really, because I'm only about 100 yards from the car, which was much better for my hip than marching right around the back of the lake. A crucian carp hybrid to start with, a few bream, a nice tench, and then a really unexpected carp, about 10¼ pounds, so that was good. At least 4 fish I pulled out of. One was certainly a tench. I had it on for a while, and the power was not a bream, probably not a carp. It was probably a tench, and left a little bit of slime on the line, which is usually an indicator of a tench rubbing against the line. So yeah, the only real disappointment was the wind. Made float fishing very, very difficult. In the end, I put a float ledger on, which helped a bit, but it still was very tricky. But it was really great to get out. My last trip was in November, so this was very special, getting out. Only about 5 hours, but that's enough really at the moment. As it was, getting down to unhook the fish was quite challenging and quite worrying at times, because the hip doesn't bend as much as it should at the moment. So, but there we are. So, as usual, thanks for watching. It's good to be back. Hope to get out again, obviously, having broke the duck, so to speak. Plenty of ducks here as well today. Yeah, hope to get out again fairly soon if I can. Until then, as I say, as usual, it's cheers for now, and thanks to all of you who are still subscribed to me, even though I've been away for 5 months or so. And thanks to all of you who have watched this video, as usual. So, that's it. Cheers. Bye.